Hey guys, welcome to the show. Today
we have the Kenwood Excelon X802-5 5-channel power amplifier. Let's take a look. So it's a new year, which means new products. Today we have the Kenwood Excelon 5-channel amplifier. Let's open this thing up and see what comes in the box. You have the warranty card, instruction manual, the high-level input plug, and a bag of screws. And then you have the amplifier itself. Now this is a ground-up total rebuild from the previous model, which is the X801.5, which we'll show you in a little bit to compare the two. Now what they've done is they've moved all the power connections to the one side of the amplifier, crossovers, gain controls, and switches to the other side of the amplifier. Now the other thing they've done is they've given you the ability to add an optional bass knob, the KCA RC01A, and also the amplifier has gotten its high-res certification. Now let's talk about the amp a little bit before we get into the ins and outs. First off, at 4 ohms, it's 50 watts by 4 and 300 by 1. At 2 ohms, it's 75 by 4 and 500 by 1. You can run it as a 3-channel mode at 4 ohms, which is 150 by 2, 300 by 1. It has a signal sense turn on for your high level installation. It has a bass boost centered at 40 Hz with 0 to 18 dBs of boost. It has a signal to noise ratio of 100 dB. The physical size of the amplifier is 9 3/4 by 2 1/16 tall by 6 5/8 inch long. Now looking at the power side of the amplifier, first thing you'll notice is it has 3 30 amp fuses. It has all screw down style terminals so that you can use fork terminals for installation. You have your battery connection here, ground connection here, and remote turn on in the center. The subwoofer is going to be these two connections over here. It's an upper and lower connection so that they're going to go like this. Across the top you have your front left, front right, rear left, rear right. It also indicates the bridged here in this stencil, which is going to be the same for the bottom. You have your high-level speaker input here, along with what we said, the bass knob. You have channel A RCA input here, B, and sub. Now let's flip it over. On the back side of the amplifier, you have your input sensitivity, your bass boost, your subwoofer crossover, and your high-pass crossover for A and B. Input sensitivity on the RCA inputs is between 5 and 0.2 volts on all 3 channels. You have a subwoofer selector switch here to have your subwoofer RCA as your input, or it will sum A and B to create a subwoofer input. Here's your 18 dB boost at 40 Hz volume control. Your low pass crossover, as well as all the other crossovers, are variable between 50 and 200 Hz. And then you have on-off switches for both A and B channels for your high pass crossover if you do not want to use them. Now as we said, this is a total redesign from last year's X801.5. What makes them different is on the 801.5 you have your terminals here, then your RCA and all your controls on the opposite side. So what that meant for mounting is when you'd screw the amplifier down, all your wires would come out this way. To achieve that with this amplifier, you would now have to mount it like this, with all your wires coming out this way, and then nothing attached on this side. As far as physical size differences, this one is 9 by 2 3/16 by 7 3/8. So it is a little wider here, but this one is a little longer here, and this one was a tad taller. Now as far as power goes, they have the exact same power, the exact same crossovers, the exact same switching as far as bass control and all that. So now what we want to do is flip the two over and let's take a look at the circuit boards, because this one boasts a whole new design on circuit board to help reduce any type of noise that's associated with creating power for an amplifier. So we're going to start by looking at the X802.5 first, and what they've done is they've split this into 3 sections. So what you have here is the analog section is all located here on the top. The power section is all located over here, and then the digital section is located over on this side down below. The idea behind this is to make this the cleanest amplifier possible. Now looking at both the amplifiers side by side, you can see where the design was starting to take shape. You have your analog section here, up underneath it is your digital section, and then your power supply section is this guy right here. They do use basically the same power transformers here. This is probably the most noticeable difference in this area here. Let's do a slow pan and you guys can look closely at the amplifiers. Now one last thing that they've changed on this amplifier to make it, in my opinion, better. On this one you had these 4 screws you had to remove to take these little ends off so you could get into the amplifier, mount it down, and do all that fun stuff like screw down your power. On the new amplifier they have these 2 aesthetic pieces here. This one is actually removable. You could take this off and this is how you get to all your power wire. No screws. Kinda like it. Then it simply just slides back on. Alright guys, that's the new amplifier. I'm really hoping I like this one as much as I liked this one. Fernando, if you please.
Okay, if you like this video, please subscribe, share, like, you know where you find us, Facebook, Instagram, and here in YouTube.
You guys have a nice night as always. We'll see you later next time.
Bye.
Bye.